pretty quiet in here. Glory to God. Matthew chapter 14 and verse 23. When you get this, say amen.
Amen.
Amen. And I'll begin to read it again. It says this. And when he had sent the multitude away, he went up into a mountain apart to pray. And when the evening was come, he was there alone. But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. Y'all see that now? Y'all see that? Y'all see that by the definition, to force to produce in a strange manner. That regardless of what your challenges are, you can still produce what God has called you to produce. That regardless of what your challenges have been, amen, you're still able to grow, amen, and go forth in the things that God has told you to go and grow and go forth in, amen. That regardless of, amen, how the enemy is coming against you, amen, you're still able to accomplish the task that God sent you on because you've been secured by his word, amen. When you grab tightly to the word, amen, the word grabbed tightly to you, amen, and it was a secureness to make sure that the goal was completed. Watch this in verse 24. It says, but the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with the waves, for the wind was contrary. I want to share something with you about that. So we understand that large bodies of water in the Bible can represent people. It can represent the multitudes, it can represent the nations, and it can represent tongues. So now, they were in the midst of the sea. You ever find yourself in the midst of people's lies against your life? You ever find yourself in the midst of those lies or those political situations that are trying to come contrary? See, you got to understand something about the job. Being on the job sometimes, there are people who align themselves politically for a position. You may walk in the door and God has a mission for you, but you got to understand that when the mission God has given you, there may be some political alignment that's happening with them, but those things can't stop what God is doing with you.
Amen. Amen.
So there are times that people will try to speak against the mission that you have in order to advance their mission. But we got to understand something. That anything that comes against what God is saying in your life is not of God. It's of the enemy.
That's right.
It's of Babylon. So now, let's go back to the word that says this. But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary, meaning the wind was fighting against them. The wind was keeping them from moving forward. The wind was trying to stop their forward progress. Verse 25, and in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went unto them walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, it is a spirit. And they cried out for fear. Now, I want to share something with y'all about that. So now, they're in the midst of the sea. Jesus had already sent them on a mission. Watch this, y'all. Let me put it this way. The word had already made a way and given them direction. And so now the word, who is now flesh, went up in the mountain to pray. So the word, amen, you got to understand, when you move with the word of God, amen, you already have all the authority that you need. Amen. So the word went up, amen, into the high place, into the mountain to pray. So now when he came down, amen, he himself is now walking on the water. Now this is interesting because they're now rowing and the wind is contrary. So as they make maybe a foot, then what happened? The wind is pushing them back. And they make maybe a foot and the wind is now pushing them back. And maybe they move another foot and the wind is pushing them back. But Jesus himself now, who was behind, amen, but not just behind, but he was also in front because he'd already given them the word. So you got to understand something. Jesus is always in front of you because he already gave you the word. Amen. All you have to do is step into the word. Amen. So now Jesus, amen, comes behind them, amen. He's in front of them and behind them. Watch this, y'all. He's in front of them and behind them. Take note of that. He's in front of them and behind them. So now when he shows up, he's walking on the same waters that they're having a problem with. He's walking on the same waters that they are having a problem with. I want to read this again in the book of Mark. Turn me to Mark chapter 6 and verse 48. He's walking, amen, on the same waters that they, against the same wind, that they are having a problem with. Mark chapter 6 and verse 48. When you get this, say amen.
Amen.
Amen. Now look how Mark says it. Mark says it this way. And he saw them toiling in row, for the wind was contrary unto them, and about the fourth watch of the night unto them, walking upon the seas, and would have passed by them. Now this is it. So now Jesus, amen, the word before them and the word behind them, amen, he'd already given them instructions to go, and they're rowing, amen, and they're rowing, and now they're toiling in their row. Meaning they're making a step forward and now they're getting pushed back and making a step forward and getting pushed back. And Jesus, who was walking on the same waters, would have walked past them.
Amen.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What was the difference between Jesus' movement and their movement? What was the difference between Jesus being able to move forward on the water without the ship? But they had the ship. Okay, let's take a look at this now. The Bible says that faith without works is dead, right? When the enemy attacks you, he tries to attack your faith first. What began the toiling of Rome was they were starting to lose their faith. They already had the word. The word was already in front of them making it away. Am I correct? That's right. The word behind him was coming to secure the word because he said, I'm going to meet you there. Anytime the word is telling you I'm going to meet you there, you got to know he expects you to be there. Amen. Okay? So anything stopping you from getting there, you got to know that this is contrary to the word. So now, Jesus now, who's walking on the same water, why is it he's not having the same struggle that they're having? Because nothing can shake his faith. But now something here is shaking their faith. What's shaking their faith is the challenge of the winds and the water. See, saints, I'm going to share something. What shakes a lot of times people's faith is the challenge of other people's faith. Other people may not believe God the way you believe God. You can't believe God the way some people who don't have faith believe God. You have to believe God radically. There has to be a change in your mind in the way you understand and you believe God. You cannot believe God the way the world believes God. You definitely cannot allow Babylon to influence the way you believe in God. Amen. Pastor, what you talking about? Let's go here for a second. So now Babylon is challenging them. They're toiling in their row. They're not making much progress. And so because now they're not making much progress, they're starting to lose something. Watch this, y'all. They're toiling, meaning they're not giving up in their physical strength, but there's something else. There's an element that's starting to be lost here. The element that's starting to be lost is the faith. Let me share something with you about that. Watch this. I remember one time that I was studying something, amen, and there's an army. He's in the Air Force, and he is a colonel. And he developed, and this is a colonel's philosophy he developed about dealing with battle and dealing with struggle. And he calls it OODA loop. He calls it OODA loop. And here's what he describes OODA loop. It's a phrase to refer to the decision cycle of observe, orient, decide, and act. Observe, orient, decide, and act. Last week y'all heard me say it this way. Y'all said persistence overcomes resistance. Watch this. But if you continue to apply, and I want to help add something to that. Persistence overcomes resistance. But there are times when you have to understand, okay, I either continue with force or I change my method for the same goal. You either continue with force or change, or what force do I use in this? Pastor Sherry and I, oftentimes when we're dealing with something, amen, and we realize, okay, we're dealing with a resistance on something. So when we're doing something and we're not making progress, the first thing we do is we say, okay, let's stop, let's pray. Because if you apply the same force to the same resistance, how much further are you going to go? So sometimes you have to decide, okay, wait a minute, we've been applying a physical force to a spiritual resistance. Y'all getting this? So now I need to change my physical force to this spiritual resistance. Now I need to apply something spiritually to this spiritual resistance. Amen. So I serve, amen, a God who rules with all power, amen. So whenever this spiritual resistance is, amen, I have to trust God who has all power to remove the spiritual resistance that I'm dealing with. Yes. So now I'm going to share something with you about that. You ever notice that the Bible says when the enemy comes in like a flood, the Lord will lift up a standard against him? Yes. Why is it the enemy will come in like a flood? It is to overwhelm you. It is to overwhelm you. When people become overwhelmed, watch this, when people become overwhelmed, the first thing that happens is they shut down in fear. They shut down in fear. And right now there's a word, amen, that people are using often called trauma. And the enemy wants to try to apply trauma to your faith. Because if he can put you in a traumatic situation, watch this, you'll always remember that traumatic situation and every other traumatic situation you've ever been through. What you do is you revert to how you think you survived through the last trauma in order to get through this current trauma, not realizing, amen, that in your situation you're in, you only survived, but you did not make progress because that trauma stopped you from moving forward. What does trauma do? It places you in fear. Fear is the direct response or the direct trigger against your faith. So now when the enemy comes against you like a flood, it is trying to put you in fear. It is trying to put you in fear. And the reason why the enemy is trying to overcome you with fear is because he knows that if you now are influenced with fear, then you shut down in defense. I'm going to share something with you about that. No matter how good your defenses are, if it ain't in Christ, at some point, it'll be overcome. I don't care how good your defenses are. You may feel like, well, I just won't go out among people no more, and I just won't see people no more, and I won't deal with people no more. And when people talk about me, I just roll up into a ball, into my own shell, and go into my own corner, but I'm shit. But the words have not stopped, and you also stop. But you got to move forward.
That's right.
I mean, how many of you got to move forward?
That's right.
You have to move forward. So now, they were shutting down in fear. They were shutting down because now they were losing, amen, watch this, their faith, and they were shutting down in fear. I'm going to continue reading. Turn me now again back to Matthew chapter 14 and 27. Matthew 14 and verse 27. When you get to say amen.
Amen.
Amen. It says this. But straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, Be of good cheer. Why did he say be of good cheer? He had to shake them out of their fear. He had to tell them, he had to change the channel and say, be of good cheer. Because he recognized, amen, they were shutting down in fear. They were shutting down, amen, while they were continuing to do some things in physical motion, they were shutting down spiritually in their fear. So he said, be of good cheer. He said, it is I. Be not afraid. So y'all see it now. Y'all see what was causing them the problem in their toil when they was afraid. They was afraid by the water. They was afraid of the influences of the water. They were afraid of the resistance of the water. They were afraid of the tongue of the enemy. They were afraid, amen, by what the enemy was doing to them at that time. Watch this. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me to come unto thee on the water. Now, again, I love Peter. Peter's an interesting fellow. Peter is just like many of us. Peter oftentimes has to deal with who he is, where he is, in order to move to where he needs to go. Peter's the perfect example for this particular situation. That you ever find yourself, amen, having to deal with who you are, where you are, in order to get to where you need to go? Pastor, what's up? You got to deal with your issues and overcome your issues in order to move forward with what God is calling you to do. Because see, the enemy understood a long time ago what your triggers were. This is why when you were so young, amen, that he tried to throw so much trauma at you. He tried to throw so many challenges at you as a kid because he never really wanted you to grow into the fullness of the faith that God has for your life. You got to understand something, that if you, amen, had went through the maturation process of your faith, amen, imagine where you would be right now, amen, by faith. Nothing can stop you, amen, in your faith right now, amen, if you've never gone through anything. But God, by his power, is trying to show you, you can get through anything as long as you rely on him by faith. Watch this. Peter now answered and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me to come unto you in the water. And he said, come. And Peter was come down out of the ship, and he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid. See, there's that word fear again. See, there's that fear thing again. See, they were rowing and they had become afraid because Jesus realized they was afraid. So their challenge now was their fear. It wasn't really the water so much. The challenge was the fear. So now it says here, and Jesus said to him, come. And Peter come down out of the ship, and he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the winds boisterous, now what is winds being boisterous? It's making noise. Saints, you got to understand something. When the enemy is speaking against you, all he's doing is making noise. He's not making progress. He's